Hey guys, and welcome back to the Leah Simone YouTube channel. I gotta remember what I'm doing right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you clicked upon this video, you've kind of already seen just about what I'm about to essentially talk about in this video. And I really wanted to do it in my car. I felt like there was an aesthetic I was kind of missing when it came to certain videos that I kind of want to incorporate. And so hopefully I'll end up talking in the car a lot more, but I don't want to be wasting no battery gas or anything like that. And even though it's December in Texas, it's not fully cold yet. It's like deciding, and it's been doing that for like, I don't know, 2 months now. It's deciding if it wants to be hot or cold. But if you clicked on today's video, then you should know that essentially I'm going over on what are some things that drive servers crazy. And at this point, I feel like I've been working as a server for a minute now, and I'm the type to really pick up on a job real fast. And it's also essentially in a compare contrast in regards of me working at different food places, let's just say that. But me as a server right now at this restaurant made me kind of analyze some things that, you know, every job is going to have its little quirks or its little, you know, I guess agitating moments. It's work at the end of the day. But I'm not gonna lie, I would rather go over things that, you know, don't have to necessarily drive me crazy, but I'll kind of just ask like, why? Because it's not making sense to me. But then I get it, but then I'm also like, you're at a restaurant, you don't have to always be so complicated, especially if our menu's not that complicated. But regardless, I am about having the best time when it comes to sitting down at restaurants. I think that service part in the industry is crucial. So don't get me wrong, I want to make sure you're doing well or having a good time while you're eating out by yourself with family, friends, or coworkers. Regardless of the event, I want you to have a nice time and have everything you need. But I am going to talk about you, okay? And so the first thing I want to talk about is when guests rush you, but they don't have okay. So when guests rush you and they don't have a sense of urgency themselves, I'm going to tell you this. Don't tell me at the beginning of your interaction with me that you're in a rush, you're in a hurry, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool, let's get this table in and out. That's what they want. Because I've also worked, you know, lunch shifts, you know, where you have to go back to work, or regardless of the shift I've worked, because I've worked so many, I just think that some people don't always want to sit in a restaurant their whole entire time, or they're just like in and out even if they don't finish their food, or maybe they do eat fast. So it's like, what am I sitting here for? And like, you know, I'm already done with the vibes, let me go to the next destination. But my thing is, if you're gonna rush me and kind of be a little antsy about it, and then, you know, I'm making sure your whole interaction, we're getting you in and out, all of a sudden you're kind of like slowing me down, be like, oh no, we don't need to tab that quickly, or we don't need to like leave that quickly, we don't need our boxes or whatnot, we don't need to rush on our, I don't want to rush you, but I'm rushing you. I'm just like, can you make up your mind? Like, do you want to sit down and chill, or do you want to like hurry up, eat, get the tab, or hurry up, get your food, maybe nibble, pack it up, pay out? Or how about this? As soon as you order your food, be like, we'll go ahead and take the check. I haven't had that necessarily just as of yet, but it wouldn't make any sense too, because later on when you're eating, you might be like, let me order one more drink. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of ruins the whole experience for me in regards to my service, because you don't know what you want in regards of time here. Because let's just say you're not rushing me, it seems like you're here to just sit down, vibe with your family, friends, coworkers, whatever. You just got off work, you just got with your kids and your husband or wife, or you're on a date. So it's like you're kind of, the server is supposed to essentially elevate your time there and enhance the experience. So that lets me know, do I have enough time to chit chat with them, joke with them, get to know them a little bit, ask questions on like their preferences on things, so I know how I can go above and beyond. If you really like your tea with lemons and you like extra lemons, I'm gonna literally already have like a whole cup of lemons for you, okay? For a lot of reasons, but that's just how I feel like it could be a better server. So the second thing that I feel like can drive servers too crazy is if guests are too picky. And I'm not going to be the one to say this, because there's been times where my food choice was picky, either by want or by allergen, so I'm not going to be too judgmental there. But there comes to an extent where it's just like, you know, this is bon kui kui, and it's just like, can I get a boneless, skinless, lettuce wrapped chicken grilled? Like, girl, you doing too much. Okay, like, come on, this is not your high-end restaurant. And even then, at the high-end restaurants, you can't be doing all these substitutions and alternatives like that all the time unless you have a food allergy. But if you end up having a food allergy, you just have to choose something different on the menu, okay? I'm not new to the service industry game. I'm not new to the restaurant game or experience. Like, I'm not new to that. So, and I'm the type of person who wants to pay servers really more than 20%. But to, is that inside my car? Almost thought I was, bugs, oh my gosh. But yeah, when guests are too picky, it kind of throws off the vibes. It's just like, dang, like, do you just want, can I get you some water? Like, do you want ice? No ice? Do you want me to put it in a to-go cup? And there's some things where I'm already kind of ready to be quick on, like, people might want different alternatives, you know, like a dipping sauce, or maybe like just something very, very common. Do you want sweet or unsweet tea? Sometimes they'll want half and half. Sometimes they'll want it with lemonade, like an Arnold Palmer. You know, that, I wouldn't say that's too picky, because that's in a way common. That's more optional. I'm talking about all your substitutions, all this, that, and the third. It's just like, that's a lot. Might as well cook it at home if you like it that way all the time, especially when we may not sell it that way. Or my thing is this, I feel like you understand when restaurants are busy. So when you're giving them a complicated order during like a rush, it's just like, well, I hope you're not gonna rush them to make your food so fast because you asked for all these substitutions, but they're gonna have to take their time because you wanted it this way. So I hope you're patient enough for it. And that's why I feel like I get on my guests, or I don't get on my guests, I feel like I get flustered sometimes, because those same picky guests be the same ones who are rushing you, who are tending to be a lot more rude, and it's just unnecessary. It's like, you are already asking for too much and you don't even have the patience to get what you want. It's like, come on now. Okay, so call me crazy or call me a health nut or whatever, but the third thing that I could think of in regards of what might be a little bit frustrating sometimes as a server is that when people order 2 drinks, and let me not be too bad about it, but like when people order like 2 or 3 drinks and they're all different types of things, so it's like you order a water but you also order like a soda, you know. So I'm just like, I guess if you're sitting down at a restaurant with me, you can argue, but I would kind of just say, if you're gonna drink the dang soda, choose the soda the entire time you're there. And then obviously, and I'm the type of server to ask if you want a to-go drink, and I'm the type to not really even, it's not even about charging you, you already paid for your drink, so whatever drink you want, as long as it's a fountain drink, that's fine. But in regards of to-go, like unless you wanted like sweet tea, lemonade, and you only ordered a water, I might be like, I'm gonna have to charge you. But if you ordered a Dr. Pepper and you want like a root beer, or maybe you want tea, I'm not gonna overcharge you or like charge you again for another drink just because it's a different drink. But the point I'm making is, like, choose one drink to drink throughout the entire time. Unless, and here's where I would like make exceptions. Unless you are ordering alcohol, if you order a martini or a beer and then you also order a water, obviously I'm not going to fault you for that. I'm not going to do that. I would actually more suggest it. That way, if it takes long to get your alcohol drink because they might be making it, or there's a lot of people ordering drinks during that time, you have your water to sip on, and I at least see that you have a beverage on your table and you're at least covered, and I'll be like, okay, well, I know they ordered another drink, because that's more stuff I have to make sure you have when you order more than one drink, regardless if I have to make it or not. Because then I have a two-top ordering 3 drinks each, and it's just like, why are you ordering a water, a Dr. Pepper, and then an alcohol beverage? I'm just literally like, you could have literally ordered like a Jack and Coke, or you could have done something to where you choose one drink and maybe the other drink is just to offset it. Because that water Dr. Pepper mix, you might as well just drink water at home or just choose to drink water the entire time. I am going to call you out. That's the whole nutrition side of me. I'm really going to tell you, choose one drink. You are, first of all, by you choosing a Dr. Pepper and a water, or a root beer water, coconut water, whatever, you're still drinking the Dr. Pepper. You're still drinking all that sugar. Just because you drink water is not going to counteract or counter the fact that you just drank all that Dr. Pepper. And that's like 24 ounces. That's not even the normal 8-ounce serving can of the soda. So choose one, please. This one is probably universal for all servers. It's just when guests are rude for no reason. They're rude when like you literally first meet them and they already have an attitude and you literally just greeted them. It's just like, oh my gosh, hi, hello, you already on some I'm like, welcome to, like, okay, watch it, like, please watch it. And if anything, you don't know what people are going through, so I would say regardless if you're the server or the guest, like, you need to figure out how to treat people or interact with people in a more positive way, even if something negative has happened to you. Don't spread that negativity, because then that's an easy way to have the whole rest of the restaurant, or even the your life as the guest, like all in negative Nancy, because you're like rude immediately upon arrival. So I would say watch that. But then also another thing is just like, you never know what happened before they sat down at your table. So you don't know. Something could have literally just happened while they were checking in at the host stand. And so it makes it a lot harder for the server to make sure you leave here with a full belly and a smile and a satisfied I don't know, experience or on your face or something like that. But okay, here's one where I would get annoyed with one over the other, and it's only because people will say that they are something, but it's clear that they're not, based on like you being there. So I'm gonna just read it right here. So when a table takes forever to order, or when they ask too many questions during a rush. And I wanted to be specific about that, because even I know some people have questions, especially if you've never been to that specific restaurant before, and that's with any restaurant. But I would kind of also like to ask the guests to like read the room. But it I guess in a way it is unfair, because they don't know you're busy. They just see you. They're just at the table and they're like, I guess it's a lot of people. We had a little bit of wait, but we're sitting down, so I guess we can order. I've never been here before. Ooh, babe, what's this on the menu? I don't know. Does it look tasty? I don't know. I'm gonna ask the waiter or the waitress when they get here. And so like, here's me coming in. I'm trying to like get your order, get in, get out. And so if it is a rush, I try to answer your questions as best as possible. And, you know, again, in my previous videos, be as honest as possible with, you know, my recommendations. But I give more lenience to that, because I'm a person with the food allergy, so I'm gonna ask questions as well. but I'm also like make it like 1 or 2 questions, not like 7 or like 10 questions. You know, I try to keep it short and sweet. And at the end of the day, I probably would ask like, what do you recommend, or what's your favorite type stuff, and that's it. But the other one where it's like you're taking forever to order, and let me be more specific about this as well. I find it a pet peeve when a guest or a table, you know, says that they're ready. I'll ask them, are you ready, or you need more time? And they say that they're ready, and I'm like, all right, let's go. You know, and then they're reading the menu. They're like, I want, and don't get me wrong, I know you might be looking at for them on the menu, but it's just like, there's some restaurants that just don't have that much of a complicated menu, and usually a lot of the times it's like, what? So if I work at I work at a chicken place, right? So there's only a certain amount of ways to eat chicken at the restaurant. So if you want a different flavor and it's taking you forever to pick a flavor, when you literally just said you're ready, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I thought you said you were ready. It's one thing to find it on the menu, but even if you need to find it on the menu, you usually kind of start like describing it like, oh, I know I wanted that chicken Alfredo, where was it? Well, the server already knows exactly what you're ordering or about to order, so then they're kind of probing you to see which one you want, and then like figure all that stuff out. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but the point to where it's just like, it don't seem like you know what you want, but you said you know what you want. It's just like, I so much promise you, if you would have said I need more time, I would have done one more loop and you wouldn't have even noticed how long I was gone. That one more loop would have been allowed you to fully know what you wanted on the menu, instead of wasting more precious time that I have to still be servicing you, as well as other guests at my other tables. But I would never be the one to rush people. Again, this video series, ooh, I knew there was a bug in here. Did I get it? I think it's because I left my door open. I'm so mad I left my door open. I should have closed it when I was doing that. I'm so mad. But yeah, I would just say, you know, kind of already, I'm not going to tell you how to order your food, but I would just say, for the sake of the server, to give your server some more relief, and to also make sure it's as accurate as possible, know exactly what you want and don't be switching it mid saying it. Because honestly, if you would have just said any more time, especially to decide, and even if they ask for your opinion as a server, the server can allow more time to the guests to give them some time to think about, you know, what they want based on what the server has said, recommended, what they're in the mood for, all of the above. Yeah, and so the next thing that I guess servers kind of get a little annoyed with is when guests move tables. And here's my thing: guests don't know how the system works when it comes to the service industry and like sitting at a table. Majority of the time, the host will ask you, do you want a booth or table? And you know, by that already, let's servers know, and also hostess, who's more than likely going to get sat. And the thing is about that is, you know, some servers may like their section, some servers might not, just based on, you know, what type of tables they have, and also how many seats or people they can fit at those tables. And so when guests move tables after whatever happened at the host stand, it does kind of throw some of the servers off. Not for too long, but to an extent it does, because it's like, you might have moved into, let's say you sat at a table when you wanted a booth, but a booth wasn't available, and a booth just became available, but you're already off the wait list, and then now you're asking the host thing, well, can we move to that booth? You just got available, but you just got off the wait list. That's honestly for the next people, and then it's also not even in the same section as the server's table that you were already sitting in. So you kind of just messed up that server's money by moving to another table, which in a way you benefit the other server because you just sat at their table now, in their section. But now the previous table you were at, now that server lost money. Well, and obviously it's subjective, but that server potentially lost money because now they have an empty table when it was originally supposed to be filled. More than likely, hosts already put their table as occupied, but now they move, so now they're wasting precious restaurant minutes to get another table and flip that table. It's just a whole mess. It's just a whole mess. So I think, and I believe, if you're able to get a table at a restaurant you've already been waiting for, and originally you weren't that picky, you need to stay not that picky. And if you are going to be that picky, then you stick your ground. If you want a booth, stay on the wait list until the booth opens up. Okay, so I guess eventually I'm going to have to decide on whether if I'm going to get the new phone or not, because I always keep forgetting mid-recording about my storage. So there wasn't really too much left to speak on, but another one I definitely did not want to forget to talk about is that, you know, one thing that drives the server crazy is if guests are too lit. And if guests are too lit, it gets a little annoying, because at some point maybe your job could be jeopardized just because, you know, potentially this table could be rowdy enough to be a little bit too under the influence, and regardless of how they get home, or I don't know where they end their party, you could end up being responsible if something were to happen. And I would never want that to be me. And so it kind of gets a little bit more serious when guests are a little bit too lit, too rowdy, too much. It's just like, you can definitely have a good time here, but you know, this isn't a club, this is a restaurant, a bar restaurant. And you know, this isn't, you know, I don't want to say like common like club names or anything like that, but this isn't like the club, okay? So this is a restaurant, it's a sit-down restaurant. It's also family-oriented as well. So I need you to kind of get it through your skulls to not get too lit, basically too drunk, especially when you don't have a designated driver. You can't be doing that. Another pet peeve, which also is universal to many other servers, is when guests are way too needy and they don't even tip well, like at all. Not even like, I would say I prefer 20%, which I'm sure every server prefers 20%. I'm even on the end of like, I really truly believe 25% should be minimum if you're trying to say like you had the best service, which is possible. But not even like 10%, not even like they spent $25 and they left 20-cent tip. They didn't leave a tip and they spent $50. And it's like, what in... I don't think people understand, you know, all that goes into being a server. And we can all argue, oh, well, you don't do that much. I'm like, in a lot of ways, we actually do a lot more than what you probably expect. It's honestly no different than if you order from fast food, and those fast food workers at least get hourly paid. And in a way, yes, servers do too, but we make $2, at least here, I make $2 and I think 13 or 14 cents an hour. So I really rely on your tips, and so that's why it is my goal and my job and my duty to make sure I provide the utmost best service. So in a lot of ways, I do expect, which, you know, can be a lot, but I do expect to get paid for, you know, my work. And that's another reason why I like the service industry, because it is more of an individual work, even though there are a lot of parts in teamwork at the restaurant. And honestly, I think this would be the last thing I could talk about, just because I'm kind of already tired, and yeah, I feel like this is enough information for y'all. I don't want guests to think I'm just roasting them, which is not a thing, because at some point or another, I've done this at a restaurant myself. Matter of fact, the other day when I was eating at a restaurant with my boyfriend and his family, I accidentally ordered a menu item that had nuts on the nuts in the dish, and I had to give it back, and I totally forgot, and I feel so bad for the server. And I don't remember if he asked or not, but low-key, the dish that he said, I low-key should have remembered, it has nuts in it, and I don't know why I was confused with that, and I ordered it. So it happens, and you know, I'm not gonna hold it against anybody, but just as a server, you know, it's like, dang, those little quirks kind of be like adding up, and it's like, dang, why do people do this? But again, you know, people like to eat how they want to eat, so I'm not gonna judge. But the last one I want to talk about where you know, things that drive servers crazy is when guests get confused on who their server is. Excuse me. When guests get confused on who their server is, and it's like blatantly obvious that this person's not your server, it kind of gets a little frustrating. And sometimes it gets even more frustrating when it's just like, is this a racial thing, or are you just not paying attention, you know? Or is this just like a classist thing, or are you just not paying attention? And a lot of times, majority of like your interaction as a server, you are introducing yourself, like, you know, hey, welcome back, my name is Aaliyah, you know, these are our specials, or if you're not a part of this, whatever, or hey, are you ready to order some wings or drinks today? We got some strawberry lemonade. This is currently, we are at happy hour, so if you're interested in a shot of whatever whiskey, you know, the whole spiel. And then that time, you know, you're interacting, and then and then the thing is, nobody at this restaurant looks the same unless you are working with your twin or like a sibling that y'all both really resemble. Then there's no reason why you should get confused on who your server is. And a lot of the times, I would more so ask, if I am not too sure, I would say, hey, do you mind getting my server? And a lot of the times, the person will be like, yeah, for sure. Can I get something for you? Or can I tell your server for you, or something like that? Because, I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of rude. Now, let's just say you drop off their food. You happen to food run that table's food, and the guests are asking for a little bit more than that's kind of out of your control. Then it's just like, yeah, I'll get your server for you. But I just think it's like, why would you, as a guest, ask this person to do something for you when they're not your server? So those are just some things that I found as like pet peeves, things that I don't like, or things that drive, you know, servers crazy, whatever the spiel is. I just think that some guests should understand a little bit more about the restaurant industry, but it is not their job too. So, but it is my job to let y'all know what to expect and what to think when it comes to being a server. So I hope y'all like this video. I hope my YouTube videos are, I'm trying to find a good lighting. I hope these YouTube videos are a little bit inspirational for you to get out there and to get the job, because I myself have been hesitant to get a server position based on like tips and all that stuff. But if you haven't tuned into my last video, it was essentially a cash count. So just check out what I kind of made as a server throughout the week. So peace be with y'all. Definitely tune in.